Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to strip away the layers of something you have probably never, ever questioned before. Today, we're taking a really close look at the architecture of the shadow self.
Check out this quote. You think you have a personality. Calm, ambitious, easygoing, strong. But what if that word, personality, is just a nicer name for something else? I really want you to let that sink in for a second. We walk around wearing these labels like, badges of honor. We slap them on our resumes, we boast about them on first dates. But today, we're exploring a concept that completely shatters those comfortable assumptions. We're going to see what's actually operating beneath the surface of all those polished traits.
And this concept completely redefines everything we think we know about who we are. Take a look at this definition of a parasitic identity. It's a trauma-based survival mechanism disguised as your natural personality, built during your childhood conditioning to keep you safe. Imagine a parasite that doesn't just, feed on you, but literally convinces you that it is you. When you were young, maybe you faced criticism or volatility or neglect. To survive that emotional environment, you built a coping mechanism. And over the decades, that mechanism became so ingrained, so automatic, that you completely forgot it was just a shield. You just started calling it your personality. So today, we're breaking down the 4 most common ghosts living inside you. And as we go through this, notice which of these stories feels, a little too familiar.
All right, let's look at the first of our 4 ghosts, the perfectionist. We'll use Sunita's experience as our guide here.
So what's really interesting here is that Sunita's relentless drive wasn't true ambition at all. To the outside world, she's highly ambitious, super organized, absolutely flawless at her job. Everyone praises her incredible work ethic. But beneath that polished exterior, the parasitic reality is that Sunita is absolutely terrified of judgment and criticism. Her perfectionism isn't born from some healthy desire to achieve. No, it's a meticulously crafted shield, designed to outrun this painful childhood memory of never being quite good enough for her parents. The parasite whispers to her, hey, if you never make a mistake, no one can ever hurt you. And honestly, it's exhausting. She's constantly scanning the horizon for any sign of failure, working late into the night, not out of passion, but out of sheer panic.
So just pause for a moment. Do you only feel worthy of love when you are performing perfectly? Notice if that question just made your chest tighten up a bit. If your sense of self-worth absolutely plummets the moment you make a minor mistake, you might just be hosting the perfectionist parasite. Let's see how this builds with our second archetype, the ghost, or the peacekeeper. We'll look closely at Vikram's story for this one. The crucial point here is that Vikram wasn't naturally chill. To his friends and coworkers, he is the ultimate easygoing guy. Never argues, always goes with the flow, incredibly adaptable. Right? That's the perceived trait. But the parasitic reality is that Vikram's entire identity is a survival tactic. He's erasing himself to avoid conflict. Growing up in a highly volatile family where arguments could explode at literally any second, Vikram learned that taking up space was dangerous. Having an opinion? Dangerous. So he became invisible. The parasite convinced him that being low maintenance was just his personality. But in reality, it's a chronic, low-level freeze response. He doesn't go with the flow because he wants to. He does it because asserting his own needs feels like a life or death risk. When was the last time you expressed a need that might upset someone else? Really think about it. Do you swallow your preferences just to keep the peace? Do you even know what you want anymore, or has the peacekeeper just completely taken over the driver's seat?
Moving right along, let's dive into the third ghost, the Atlas, or the caretaker. We're going to explore Anjali's story of carrying the weight of the world.
Now this is fascinating. Anjali's endless helpfulness is actually a parasite. As a pillar of strength, she's the person you call at 3 a.m. when your life is falling apart. She's constantly celebrated for her selflessness. But the parasitic reality is a lot darker. Anjali is addicted to being needed, to feel valuable. In her childhood, the only time she received love or attention was when she was fixing a crisis or taking care of an unstable parent. So the parasite formed a very simple rule. Your only value is in your utility to others. If Anjali isn't actively solving someone else's problem, she feels this crushing sense of absolute panic and worthlessness. Her self-worth is entirely outsourced. The parasite just feeds on the dependency of others, ensuring Anjali is always exhausted, always carrying a burden that isn't even hers. So ask yourself this: who would you be if absolutely no one needed your help right now? If there were no crises to manage, no friends to save, no fires to put out, would you feel peaceful, or would you feel completely empty? And finally, we arrive at our fourth archetype, the fortress or the rebel.
Let's bring Rowan's lived experience to light.
This perfectly captures how Rohan's rebellious independence isn't strength at all. It's a giant wall. The perceived trait is someone fiercely independent, a lone wolf, entirely untouchable and self-sufficient. Rohan doesn't need anybody. But the parasitic reality reveals a very different structure. Rohan is deeply, profoundly terrified of intimacy and vulnerability. Somewhere along the line, trusting someone led to deep emotional pain or betrayal. To ensure that never happened again, the parasite built a fortress. It constantly whispers to Rohan that people will inevitably let him down, so he has to cut them off first. He mistakes his isolation for freedom. But it's not freedom when you're trapped inside a wall of your own making, ensuring no one can ever get close enough to truly know you, let alone hurt you.
Do you push people away the exact moment they start to truly see you? When a relationship gets deeply vulnerable, do you suddenly find a reason to run and just label it as protecting your independence?
Okay, let's bring this all together. The four ghosts inside you: the perfectionist's shield, the peacekeeper's invisibility, the caretaker's burden, and the rebel's fortress. The absolutely vital takeaway from this explainer is understanding that these are not natural personality traits. They're just not who you were born to be. They are deeply ingrained survival mechanisms masking your true self. They are the architecture of your shadow, built meticulously to keep you safe from a danger that probably passed decades ago. The parasite is still running the software of your childhood in the hardware of your adult life.
So, to truly face these ghosts, to dismantle the architecture of this shadow self, you have to go deeper. The book is called Parasitic Identity. You can find the link for it right in the description below. It's time to ask yourself the hardest question of all. If you strip away the perfectionism, the people-pleasing, the caretaking, and the walls, who is actually left underneath the parasite? Check out the link and begin the work to find out.